Hey guys, Pastor Chris here. Welcome to the carpoolside chat. Hey, I want to get to you before I went into work. I got questions this week about doctrine. There are a couple of politicians who are running who are using Christianity, church doctrine to prove their points. I guess there was an interview with El Said out of Michigan, and he was comparing Sharia law to canon law, and it's the same thing. And it sounded very good and very convincing. Talarico down in Texas says he's a Christian. I think he went to Princeton or Yale Divinity. One of the schools, got a divinity degree. And he has said some things which also sound very convincing. There is no gender with God. There are 6 genders. Christ would be with the poor. And the Republicans are evil. Sounds very convincing, especially when you have an eloquent speaker. But what I want to warn you, and this is a short one today, read Ephesians 4:14. This applies to Christians, followers of Jesus Christ, but it says, do not be blown about by every doctrine and trickery of man with smooth-sounding words. Don't be children. I have said now for years that critical thinking, I think, is lacking in our society. And this is one of the areas that can be exploited if you do not analyze things critically. Because you can have educated people that are very eloquent speakers that kind of use scripture or church law or historical Christianity to prove their point. But when you look at it, you realize the point they're proving is trickery. Canon law is the same as Sharia law? No. Sharia law is a legal system. Canon law is how you organize church. One of the things in the U.S. we have is separation of church and state. So was the U.S. founded on Christian principles? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, shoot, you can go back to Mayflower Compact and see that it was based on Christian principles. Go back to the Federalist Papers. Go back to the Constitution. Go back to the Declaration of Independence. Look at Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural speech during the Civil War. Christian principles, but not Christian law. God is genderless. It does not mean there are no genders, because in Scripture it says too, and God created man and woman. Man and woman he created he them. So there is no gender with angels, but angels are not men. There's no gender with God. I might argue that, because you never hear God referred to as anything other than God the Father. There was a trend, 70s, where they tried to make, actually critical thinking about critical race theory. Critical thinking is called critical feminist theory. And they said God was God the Father, Mother. No. God calls himself, his word, Scripture calls him God the Father. So, do you look for poor? This is God, this is Christ, this is Jesus? Absolutely. But you don't worship the poor, you worship God. And even Jesus Christ himself said, the poor you will always have. You come follow me. So, just evaluate good sounding words from educated people. It does not mean that they are correct. Thanks for the question. Fantastic question. Keep them coming. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, at FL Compass Church, and now on Instagram, at FL Compass Church. Be blessed, guys. We'll see you Saturday.